week, and I hope you were able to catch the community tab and the short and find out what we're working on today. Today we are going to be working on doing um, foundation piecing on that we can make string blocks, or you can do just paper piecing. So I'm going to kind of go over the things that I know about that. So I've kind of set up things a little bit different because I've had trouble with my lighting and it's been interfering with the focus on my camera. So I've been doing things a little different, and I actually have a quilt. Let me kind of move that around a little bit. This is a quilt that I have done from paper piecing, foundation paper piecing. And there's several different ways that you can do this. And what you can do is you can take scraps of things that I bought this. This was part of a scrap bag, and I do not like this print. But you can cut up strips of fabric that you don't like and put in there. And then, like this, but there wasn't enough of it. It's a little nice children's print. Good morning, Michelle. Appreciate you tuning in, and everybody else that catches it live or on the replay. And so, like, I had this little print. There wasn't enough to show the detail. So sometimes you have things you don't like, or there's not enough of, or you actually have, like this is the end of something that I cut on the last project that I did for live on the fence rail. So, I had these pieces right here. You can see it was my end pieces. And so, you can save those and use those in string quilts. So I had my basket of scraps. I have more than this, but I had a little basket of scraps here. Wanted to kind of show you different things. Even miscut pieces. Like I had tried to cut something and that was miscut. You can still use this. And then, like, this was a shirt that I cut out, and that's just the way that it goes when you cut up shirt fabric. So it can be cotton shirt fabric, it can be quilting fabric. So, this opens you up to a lot of different things, and there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and there's no limit to your creativity. So let me set this aside, and I'm going to show you some other examples that I had done. And so let me first show you the foundation paper. And I don't know if there's any other place to get it, but I had gotten mine at Missouri Star Quilt Company. And it comes in a package like this. And I'm going to tell you, I have gotten this before, and the best thing to do is just cut your little hole to where you can reach in and just grab one out. It's not gonna bother it if you make just a big enough hole to get it out. But if you open this up, then you're going to need a container to put this in, like a scrap box, scrapbook paper box or something, or a something, because it's going to go everywhere. And then the sheets are very, very thin. They're kind of like tissue paper, and they're printed on one side, they're plain on the other. You can sew on either side. It doesn't make a difference. But this is going to be a little slick when it goes through your sewing machine. Your feed dogs are not going to grab that. So when you sew these, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful about running it through. If you're a quick sewer, you're going to have to slow down a little bit. But so this quilt, I had taken and used this white fabric to tie in to all the blocks. And then, but you don't have to do that. You can just do, I have some blocks here. You can just, and they still have the paper, the foundation paper on it. You can hear it. You can just take and you can just start in the middle and do a light and a dark, or you can do this completely scrappy. Let me go this way where you don't get the quilt in the back as much. And so what you have to do is you can use lapel glue, or you can pin it, or you can be very careful and just hold it steady and take your time for your first one. So you're going to put everything right sides together, and you're going to still sew 1/4 of an inch. This one's going to be folded on this one, and you come through. Then you're going to iron it open. from the front. And then you're going to be able to put a strip on this side and this side the same way, right sides together. Then you can press method. You can kind of do in a chain piece type method a little bit better than you can some of the other layouts. And that was, you could do it with the same with this one. And so I'm going to show you, this is that fabric I don't like, that I didn't have enough of, that I didn't have to go with something else. And none of these fabrics to me really go together. But when you start piecing these together and you start sewing them together, it really looks, it really changes the look when you start putting the blocks together. So I did that one. And then here's another one where I have, this is shirt fabric and this is quilting cotton. And these are my leftovers from the fence rail that I had sewn in here. And then, you know, the strips can be any size that you have or want to put in here. It can be as planned or as scrappy as you want. But I'm going to say, if you're kind of like a plan sewer, this might not be the project for you. But if you're kind of open to just doing something that has no planning, you just want to do some sewing, then this would be for you. So while I have you looking at this, you may come to this. So what I did was I had sewn those together, right sides, and then I got ready to iron it out. When I got right there, I had that little point. You really need to go ahead and put another piece in there and extend it out. Even if it's very small, this side is even smaller. So what I did was I had extra hanging out here and I cut a little piece of that, and that's actually going a different direction. But I have that corner covered so that if I need that, if that's less than a 1/4 inch, then I have something to sew to. So, and then I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to show you one that I didn't have it trimmed up so you kind of know what it's going to look like. So I have taken, this is shirt fabric, I had taken a 5-inch block and I pinned it, and then I put fabric on this side, ironed it back, this side, and ironed it back. And then I took my pin out and then I started going around. All of this is the same fabric in all of the blocks. I didn't change any of that up because I wanted you to see basically apples to apples on how your blocks can look. So when you get to sewing, it's not going to look so great when you get ready to trim. It's going to look like this. And you're going to go, I don't like that. That's just not. But when you trim it up, that block I just shown you has the same fabrics and same layout as this. It's going to look like this. It's going to really come together really nice. And so, and what you'll do when you get ready to cut is you will use your paper as your guide. And you don't even have to worry about trimming your threads as much. That got caught up in a seam. But you don't have to worry about trimming your threads as much because you're going to cut that off. And it's going to save you a little bit of time. So this is where I tried to string piece. What am I trying to say? Chain piece. And just not enough coffee this morning. Need some more. But then you can see how all of that lays out. So how do you break that paper apart? I don't want to break it apart on this one because I haven't trimmed it. So hold on, let me get one I have. Okay, so it's real easy. You can shorten the stitch length. You don't have to. So what you're going to do is you're going to just pull on it, and it's going to perforate right there, and you're going to pull them off. Yes, that makes a little extra work for you, but then when you get through, you're going to have blocks that aren't sewn. And all of these are going to be on the bias, so you're going to have to watch the stretchiness when you pull that out. And I have heard some people sew the quilt together with the paper on and without. I sewed it without the paper on, and I did have a little issue with it being on the bias. But, I mean, once you get that started, it just rips right off. So, and you do need to take those off. You don't need to leave that on. It doesn't need to be washed. So I wanted to show you that about paper piecing. You can also use that foundation paper for if you've got small templates and you want to make designs with it, like the periwinkle block. You can do that on paper piecing. I haven't tried that. I'm not as ambitious for small pieces just yet, but I'm going to try that sometime. And I wanted to show you again this quilt. And this is actually a quilt I made for my bed. I have a king size of this, and this is the leftover blocks that I made. I just got happy making blocks, and this was what was left. And this is going to be where if I put a border around it, this will be big enough to give away, and that is what I plan to do. So that's kind of what I have on string quilts and foundation paper. And then I usually give you a little tip on how to do things that make things easier. So when you change your rotary blade and your needle in your sewing machine, you don't need to just wrap it in anything or just do anything to dispose of them. You need to make it to where that no one accidentally gets cut on those sharp items that you have. And so here is a couple of things to do when you are getting ready to change your needle in your machine or your rotary blade. So I had to change my rotary blade last night. And so what you can do is you can save one of these packages and mark on it with like a piece of masking tape and say that they're old. And then when you get this filled up, then you could wrap it in some kind of masking tape or duct tape or something so it won't come open, and then you can put it in your trash. That way you'll know anybody that handles your garbage will not get hurt or cut. You'd hate for somebody to come in and stick their hand in your garbage or you and press it down and accidentally get cut. So you can do that with your blades and your needles is keep one that you've already used up and just mark that for old. Okay. There's another thing you can do. This is what I've done when I didn't have anything available to really do that. So I had changed my blade and my rotary cutter last night. And I have an old roll of duct tape. And so what I do is I put a piece of that down, and you'll probably have to stick one side of it down to your table. And then I unhook this. This kind has a quick release where that whole assembly comes out, and you lay it like this, and then you can pick the blade up. Always be careful with your rotary blades and your needles. These things can hurt you if you're not careful, please. I mean, a rotary blade is a round razor. I have accidentally cut myself before, and a lot of people have, and it is not a pleasant experience. So read your instructions on how to properly get your blade out of your cutter. Every manufacturer has something different that requires to get it out. Then handle it the least amount possible, and handle it from not from the sharp side, but from here, not here. So then I stick that on a piece of duct tape. Then what I will do is I will fold and leave plenty of room for that edge to not be at the edge of my duct tape. And then I will come over here. I've got a little short side over here. I've almost got the whole thing covered, but I'm going to come over here and get this side, and I'm going to leave it like that, and this side, and try to leave a little room, and then over here. Then I would come and wrap it again. This way, there are no sharp edges right there. So if this gets turned sideways in your garbage can, you're not going to cut yourself or anyone else handling your garbage, because whether you have a the husband that takes out your garbage for you. You don't want him to get cut. And you would hate for somebody that's handling the garbage to take it away from your home to get cut. So that is proper disposal of your sharp items is very important. So I know this has kind of been a quick one today. It's springtime. I just want to give you some ideas and some little tips and tricks that I have learned, and want you to get inspired to sew something and to give to somebody. You know, I know it seems a long way away from Christmas, but I guarantee you, when summer comes and we get busy, Christmas is going to sneak up on us quickly, and there's other times that we need to give things away. So I hope this has inspired you to use even your ugly fabric or something that you don't have much of and make something beautiful. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to show you, I forgot to do this. I'm going to show you how these blocks that I made fit together. Okay, like this. And see, I probably wouldn't put it like that. Let me turn that. Like, you can do it like that. It's because I use the same fabrics. It's not going to not really line up really great. But see, you can do, even if you do the different types, you can put it in there. And if it gets too busy, you can do sashing. So, or you can do like this and put one common color on every one, and it'll look like diagonal sashing on point blocks. So I am so glad that you spend time here. Thank you for all the likes, shares, and subscribes. I know you could spend your time on other channels, and I appreciate everybody coming together. And, let's make something beautiful to give away today. Hope everybody has a great week, and I'm planning on being here again next week. So see you then. Have a great week. Enjoy your spring.